Hey everybody, this is Rycard here again. It's been a very long time since I've uploaded a video, and I figured why not just upload some Showdown. I know Sun and Moon are coming out the next couple months, so I figured why not get back into making some videos as it has been a very long time since I've done that. So I'm probably just going to upload kind of some battles until then. So don't be looking for any movesets because that's all going to change when Sun and Moon come out. You have no idea what's going to happen with those. But I hope you're as excited about those as I am. But anyways, I have a UU match here that I had on Showdown the other day. I'm using kind of a unique team, and it turns out that this team has like a couple of gimmicks with it, and I get to use I think none of them in this game, so that kind of stinks. But I'll show a couple other games with this team that I got to do with these interesting gimmicks, which I'll explain another time. But let's just jump into this right now. All right. So I decided to lead off with my Mienshao as my opponent leads off with his Mamoswine, and I'm thinking, well, he's leading off with Mamoswine, it's weak to, fighting, so I'm going to U-turn out of there because he'll probably switch. But he doesn't switch. Probably shows me that he's sashed there, but he goes for the Stealth Rock, and then I'm also thinking, water type versus ground, he's probably going to switch, but no, he stays in. I Shadow Ball, thinking Scald is way too obvious, and then he just goes for a knockoff twice and kills me. So I'm like, well, I lost my Jellicent for nothing. So I bring him Mienshao, and I'm like, well, he's obviously going to switch now, right? But no, he doesn't. I go for the knockoff because, the freaking high jump kick wasn't so obvious there to go into Chandelure. But anyways, I end up losing my item for no reason now because of that, which is an Assault Vest. I'll explain that at a later date. But I'll eventually be able to take out this Mamoswine finally for no reason after losing a guy and then also losing like half my health in my Mienshao. But either way, I go into Gligar because I know I can take anything from Crobat. Taunt is probably going to happen here, but I wanted to go for Stealth Rock anyway just to see if I could get it off. Maybe he didn't have Taunt or something, but it looks like he does. So he's just going to be able to U-turn out of there. He can't really do too much to me, but I really can't do much to him either. So we actually both go for U-turn here. And since I'm slower, I actually get the switch initiative. So I go actually right back into Mienshao to get some Regenerator HP up, and then go ahead and go for U-turn again just to get out of there and recover even more HP because I know that I can very easily go into Tentacruel right here to take whatever the Blastoise wants to go for. He goes for Scald, which is obviously the best choice, and he gets the burn, which is kind of unfortunate, but it happens all the time, and you gotta just expect it at this point. So me knowing that he has a Toxicroak there, I know I couldn't go for Scald to try to burn him, but I just go for Rapid Spin. And he didn't decide to go into Chandelure expecting that, which I thought was interesting. I guess the threat of the Scald was too much for him to want to risk that. So Toxicroak ends up working out. He goes into now Knockoff. I stand and just Sludge Bomb to try to figure out what set this is. Maybe it was like a sub Drain Punch or something like that. But this is my opportunity right now to bring in Gligar. I didn't think he was going to actually knock off twice, so that was a really good play on his part, but I lost my item, unfortunately. But I do get a lot of my HP back after I Roost, and then U-turn out of there, which I'm thankfully faster than Blastoise, because people tend to not run speed on it for some odd reason. I think you should definitely run speed on Blastoise, personally, but that's just me. But Umbreon comes in, it can take hits for days, and I can also synchronize over a burn, which happens right here. I'm not sure why I didn't go for Wish that turn. I guess I thought he wasn't going to stay in, but he's not going for Aura Sphere, so I'm guessing he doesn't have it, which means he either has like Rest or something, or Ice Beam. I'm not really sure what's here. But I go for the Wish and just Protect to get some HP back. There was a lot of thinking about that play personally. I didn't want to, think that he was the type of player to predict Protect and then switch out into Toxicroak, but it looks like he doesn't. And he's just staying in here and just letting Burn kill him. So I'm just going to keep wishing up. And Blastoise goes down. So I got a Wish in the air. I'm sitting about 30% health, and that is very, very low. He's going to go into Crobat, though, and I know that I can Protect on this, so I'm going to get actually my Wish off here on my Umbreon, which is going to be really good for me because I'm going to be able to get a lot of health back. I'm going to need my Umbreon at a lot of health if I'm going to be able to handle the Chandelure and the Hydreigon. So I'm just going to switch out here and go into Gligar, again, knowing that he can't really do too much to me. If he wants to stay in and Brave Bird, he can. It's not going to do a lot, but I'm just going to U-turn out and then figure out what he wants to do. So again, we exchange U-turns here. He makes a good play going into Toxicroak, knowing that I wouldn't Earthquake in that situation. But there's a perfect opportunity for me to go into Entei, and I'm thinking, okay, Sacred Fire, he's probably Dry Skin. So this would be really good. I Protect first, though, just to kind of see if he had Sucker Punch, because if he did, then I would have went for Extreme Speed. It turns out Sacred Fire doesn't kill, though, which really surprised me. And he's able to, again, knock off another item, because why would you go for another move? And then I proceed to go for Extreme Speed there, and he switches out into Hydreigon, knowing that he could probably take whatever hit, and he wanted to keep his Toxicroak for later. But knowing that I just need something to take a hit from this guy, go into Tentacruel, and then I learned that it's Life Orb, which is really good for me, so I can go into Mienshao right now. And then me knowing that the switch into Chandelure might be possible, but also wanting to get some damage on Hydreigon, I just go for the safe play, go for U-turn. Didn't want to obviously go for high jump kick there, but it allows me to go into Entei. And now I want you all to know that this is at a time that I don't believe Flash Fire was released. I don't think it's released yet either. Maybe it is. I'm not entirely sure, but I didn't want to obviously just switch right into Umbreon expecting the Shadow Ball. I have Protect on this Entei. I can explain that another time as well, but it makes a lot of sense. It actually helps out with this team quite a bit. But I go into Umbreon. He can't do anything to me, so this is a perfect opportunity for me to get rid of this burn, which has been such a pain. And then to get some more leftovers recovery, I go for Protect before he taunts me. So it looks like he doesn't actually taunt. He went for Roost. Very, very odd right there. I don't know if the screensaver just popped up on the screen, but it did for me. But I just get Foul Play off, just get some damage because I knew he was going to go for the taunt. And then I decide to switch out now into my Gligar, just again to, wall this thing to an extent. And it turns out he actually U-turns here, and I'm just like, all right, maybe I can get my Stealth Rock up. And so I was just like, you know what? He might not kill with Fire Blast, and I go for it, and it turns out he switches out. I guess he was more afraid of the Earthquake than I was of the Fire Blast, which was maybe stupid on my part, but I just wanted the rocks up. So then I go into Man-Shadow Revenge Kill, go for knockoff, thinking, why would you stay in? And of course he stayed in. So I take damage with Draco Meteor. Thankfully he was ready at -2, and I am actually especially defensive on this Mienshao, and I can also explain that another date. It's a really, really interesting Mienshao set, but I just go for High Jump Kick there, wanting to finally actually kill him. It hits the Crobat for like 0 damage, because he quad resists, so he's able to roost off here. We get pretty much back up to full HP now. But Entei isn't here. I know I can take a Brave Bird, and I'm hoping for Sacred Fire hacks with the burn, and I fortunately get it. So that is really, really good for me, because now this Crobat is pretty much on a timer at this point, and I can also just Extreme Speed to take him out. If you wanted to switch out, though, that would have been bad for him if you wanted to save her fodder or something. But he goes into Chandelure. And again, I have the liberty of being able to Protect here just to scout. And this is really useful for scouting a lot of Scarfers, because there's a lot of those, or just like, choice Pokemon in UU. So I just go to Mienshao. Now, normally, I would be able to take this a lot better had I had my Assault Vest, but I don't. I still live it, though, as you can see how bulky I could potentially be for Mienshao. But I know that I can just safely switch into Umbreon right here, so I just go for the Wish. He stayed in and go for Fire Blast. I knew it wasn't going to do that much. But I know he pretty much has to switch out at this point, so there's a free opportunity for me to potentially pass into Entei or go for the Foul Play. I decided to be the safer play, go for the Foul Play. Unfortunately, it doesn't kill this Hydreigon, and as you're going to find out right now, he does pack the Roost, which is quite unfortunate for me because I really cannot damage this guy that well. But at the same time, he also really can't damage me. So it's kind of like a weird stalemate situation. I just go for the Wish, trying to kind of goad him into going for an attacking move. Like maybe he was going to go for Draco Meteor, and he now dropped his special attack, so he's really not going to be doing anything to me. So I, again, am free to go for a Wish on this turn. Toxicroak comes in, and he decides to use it as fodder there, just because if he switched into Chandelure and I went for Foul Play, it would have died. So that was a good play in his sense. But here I can actually Protect, and I scout that he is actually trying to go for the Trick. So this is perfect for me to go into Entei right here. Entei won't mind the Scarf at all because there's really nothing much left on his team anyway. So I'm able to get it, and then I go for Stone Edge. It hits, and it takes out the Chandelure. So then he finally brings in his last Pokemon now, which is this Hydreigon again. And I'm able to go for the Stone Edge again. But I decided, you know what, I'm going to switch out. Maybe I can get him to a low range of health to where I'll be able to potentially go for Extreme Speed or something. I don't really know what my plan was there, but I switched out because I figured it was the safer play. Maybe it was to see if he would try to go for Draco Meteor a bunch, and then he would get low enough to where he wouldn't even be able to kill Entei at that point. But he goes for it here. He realizes that he's probably not going to get anywhere with this, though, because he cannot hurt me really at all. Now he's at -2, so he just forfeits at this point, which gives me the victory in the battle. So thank you, everybody, for watching this battle. I hope you enjoyed, content for the first time in I don't know how long. But I hope you continue to stick around. I'll try to upload some more Showdown battles in the future. But as always, everybody, thank you all for watching. And as always, take care, goodbye, and I'll see you all next time.